All right. Hey, I just wanted to let you know this is the second episode of equipment information video. Um, what I got for you today is safety, health and safety, PPE. Um, Before we start getting into tools and all that stuff, so I just wanted you to know that safety comes first. Safety is key to having, a good, healthy career. It's been good for me, and I've got, Jesus, man, about 30 some odd years, 35 and plus years of being safe and working safe, especially in the industry that I've been in, and that's welding and carpentry. And a lot of it has to do with some high electrical, with welding, amperages and electrodes and all that stuff. Can be very dangerous and you can be electrocuted. And with carpentry, saws, the blades are very sharp. So I've got all 10 fingers and toes, and I might have some scars and scrapes and cuts, but that comes with the territory. So I just wanted to kind of go over that with you, Cole. So Ryan or Jacob, whoever's watching, I just, these videos are just, to help you. And this is in no way professional. These are just my opinion. Anything that I say is not in some book somewhere or something. It's just over the decades and years of work experience in my life. And I'm hoping to pass it down and give you that information, and hopefully you might be able to learn from my knowledge. So first thing we're going to talk about is about safety, and health and safety go hand in hand. My health, it doesn't have any health doesn't really have anything to do with safety per se, as well as, like, I mean, unless negligent safety does. So if you're safe, doing everything safely, and still an accident happens, it's not going to affect, like, health, but over long term it can, because where it's at is like in inhaling chemicals and stuff like that could later down the road affect your lungs and your breathing and stuff like that. So if you get even like splashes in your eye of some chemical or whatever, and over the long term, your vision starts going and stuff like that. So it all depends on how safe you are using equipment, chemicals, and dust and debris and stuff. Like people who have asthma or allergies and mow the lawn, they're going to have health issues because it's going to affect their lungs automatically. That's just health. That's just their health. But what they can do, and what most people do, is wear masks when they're mowing. You'll see them. They wear those whole face cover things to keep most of the dust out. And then it's just not healthy to breathe. It's again, long term. It can affect your lungs. So I want you to understand safety, and it's key to everything because if you don't have any idea about safety, it could totally just damage you, your life, and career, because if you're just living life unaware and having no common sense about being safe, it's going to get you. I mean, if you just think you can walk out there and walk out in the street and think that, oh, people will see me. No. The guy could be drunk. The guy could not even see you. He could be looking at his phone. So back in the day, we didn't have to worry about that. People not paying attention when they're driving. So if you have some common sense of safety, that'll get you through whatever. But if you are just living your life with no common sense, then it's going to get you one way or the other. You're going to pay. And so this is why safety is key. You know to walk when you cross the street, to look both ways. Common sense. You know that there are crosswalks that tell you when to walk, and if it's not if it has the red guy standing there, just stand there and not walk, because cars, they're really not looking for you anymore, because they're too busy texting, they're too busy maybe even talking on the phone and just running red lights, and they're not looking for you if you're on the streets or corners or walking. It's not like that. It's different. Times have changed, and you need to be very, very aware of your surroundings and what's going on. And that's the same thing in the industry. You got to be aware, cranes overhead, if you're in the construction field, cranes overhead, they have their own safety procedures in place that you have to learn before you even get on the site. You have to take their safety courses and do their little quizzes and stuff that is acceptable to them, and they make it to where it's acceptable, to allow you on this the site. Because if you're just some guy that just walks onto the site and don't know what's going on and is unaware of his surroundings, you got a cement truck that's coming and you're not looking. He knows to look for you, but I mean, is he going to be able to stop right away? And he's got a heavy load, and it's momentum, and heavy momentum is hard to stop. It's like a train. So just that just coming out of my head, I want you to be aware of your surroundings. It could be anywhere. Just the other day, I was trimming some bushes and hedges and stuff on our property at work, and before that, we saw a dead rattlesnake. It was in the road, and it got ran over. So that tells me there's rattlesnakes around. I need to look, be careful, listen, and watch my surroundings. I can't just go into a bush and start trimming it. They could be in the shade or something. I mean, rattlesnakes love the sun, but it's warm and it's really hot. So, they could be just kind of hanging out in the shade, and I couldn't maybe not see it. And all of a sudden it's too late. It bites me or something, So I was totally aware that there was rattlesnakes around, and I looked around, and I was trying to be as safe as I could while trimming those shrubs and bushes. So I was aware, and I didn't, fortunate, good thing there wasn't any around, so I was able to complete the job, get it done while I was out there. But then again, I was using a hedger, and I had to be, also careful about not getting my fingers caught in, keeping my fingers away, wearing my gloves, which is a part of the PPE. And PPE stands for personal protective equipment, which is going to be safety glasses, work gloves, and it's like steel toes, or they got these micro or composite toes and boots and shoes, and they even got like tennis shoe like looking safety toes. So even with steel toes in them, and they're like tennis shoes. So depending on the job that you're doing, there's just all kinds of safety equipment that you can get, for small jobs. I mean, it's working around the house, and you're going to be on your own, and there's going to be probably maybe some jobs that you might have to do around that property. So you need to be safe, because if you're not, you could lose a finger, you could cut yourself very seriously, you could get something in your eye, and it's not fun to get hurt. It's not fun recuperating if you're down. If you got down, they put you down, I had a back injury in 2019. That's the only time I can think of that actually had me down. I now have a pinched nerve, and I had to have back surgery, as you know. And that's now damaged nerve. It's now damaged. The nerve is permanently, it was pinched for so long. I had to jump through hoops for the insurance companies, and then they finally decided, okay, you need back surgery, and it's still the same. The nerve is pinched. It's permanent now, and so now I have to find jobs that aren't very labor intensive, because I could tell you that I could run around the construction site around circles around some of these other guys, and it's just hard for me not to do that now, because of this back injury. And that's the only thing that I need to talk to you about, is lifting properly, doing things properly, and that's the whole intent and purpose of this video. So I'm gonna go over safety glasses. I know they're kind of like dorky, they're not cool, and so, but these these are pretty cool. I like them. They're comfortable, they're lightweight, and they're safety glasses. I wear them every day at work, and I don't mind them. Always keep your lenses clean, because they do get dirty. And there are some that look like sunglasses that you can wear during the day if you're outside. So they are getting cooler, because I used to buy safety glasses from Home Depot when OCC was a big thing. Orange County Choppers. They used to have safety glasses, really cool tinted lens sunglasses, but they were safety glasses. And I'm going to tell you, people all over, and people will think that they are protecting their eyes by just wearing their prescription glasses. I'm going to tell you right now, no. Safety or prescription glasses are not made for impact resistance. And what I mean by that is that if something were to come loose, or a rock or a knot from a piece of wood that you're cutting, and it happens to fly out, and those things will ricochet. A grinding wheels throw off a lot of sparks, and if you don't protect your eyes, sparks could get in your eyes. That knot from that wood will ricochet into your eye, and it's not a good feeling. Drywall dust. Now I know you're going to be on your own, and I'm not gonna beat around the bush with you. I'm gonna tell you straight out. There's probably gonna be parties there. I know there is. I've had parties. I've been to parties, and I've seen what can happen after. There might be some damaged drywall, and someone's got to fix it. Well, if you have these skills and you have the talent and you can fix that drywall, you can charge your renters. You could charge them a fee. You might make some money, and then you get the paint and paint it, and you might save yourself a deposit from your landlord. So this is where a lot of common sense comes into play. So we'll talk about that later. I'll actually have maybe a piece of drywall. I'll punch a hole through it, and I'll show you how to repair it and make it look like it never happened. And you can do that. You can gain these skills to where you can get it back to the original condition it was. Either like a drywall, metal welding, and look what happens when you wreck a car. These auto body guys can make it look like it never happened. They just get the parts and Bondo, fiberglass, whatever, and they make it right, and they paint it, match it, and everything's all good and normal, and it comes with a price. It's expensive to have that talent. Nobody wants to pay it, but I mean, it's going to save you a lot of money, and you can make money. I know you're going into another field, but still, if your friends know that you can do it, you can fix it, and you can fix anything, they're going to come to you and they're going to ask you, hey, help me out or whatever, and there's some money in it. So safety glasses are important. And like I said, prescription glasses are not safety glasses because they can shatter. They can't take the impact. And what's going to happen is that when that rock or whatever hits that glass, it's going to break and shatter in their eye, and it's still going to impact them, and they're going to have glass in their eye. So these safety glasses, there's only one way to tell if your safety glasses are shatterproof, and on the temple, it'll be stamped with an ANSI letters. That's ANSI stands for American National Standards Institute. These are the guys who pretty much certify everything safety: ladders, fall harness, all kinds of stuff. Just look it up, and if it's not ANSI certified or ANSI stamped on these glasses, they're not good enough. They are not good enough. There's guys that will claim that they have their prescription glasses, and put these little plastic side shields on them. They're protecting the sides of their eyes, but they're not protecting direct impact, from their eyes, for their eyes. But I mean, you'll see if you can look. I don't know if that's gonna show it, but there's some lettering on these glasses that tell you a number, a code. I am going to get my readers. Okay, there's a number on here, and I think the numbers are the reference number to the patent code. All of these are going to have a patent. They got a number on them, but these sunglasses, even though they're plastic, they're still not going to protect you because they don't have an impact resistance on them. So you could be working out in the day, wearing sunglasses, thinking, okay, well, yeah, these are plastic, they'll protect my eyes or whatever. No, they won't. They don't have the impact resistance that are certified for ANSI. So just wanted you to make sure that when you go to the store and you're looking for safety glasses, look at the ANSI number, ANSI. Just remember that. And we always say ANSI. So that's something that you can also just look at. They're going to be a little expensive, but what's $50 compared to $250 or $1,000 for going to the doctor, having to get a piece of metal or sawdust or drywall dust out of your eye? I think $50 is worth it. I wasn't wearing my safety glasses one time back in, I want to say 2005. I was doing some drywall and I was doing it overhead. So of course, when you're doing drywall and you're kind of doing maybe some sanding or something, just, when you're trying to fit up the piece, a little bit of dust come down on my eye and it burned, and there's alkalinity in it, and that burns. It's like battery acid. The amount was small, but it burned. It was burning, and I could not see. I couldn't keep my eye open. It was just burning. So I ended up having to go to the doctor. It was a workers' comp thing, and I told them I got drywall dust in my eye, and they had to wash it, clean it out, and do that for my eye. And they made me wear an eye patch for a couple of days, and I think they even prescribed me some pills or something. I just remember I had to take pills for a few days, and after the third day or something, they told me I could, depending on how it felt, I could take the eye patch off. And that's just kind of embarrassing, wearing an eye patch, and having your eye kind of taped up, covered, and having this eye patch to protect it, it's kind of embarrassing. It sucks. So getting hurt at work kind of just sucks. So I've always tried to think before you do any kind of work. So if you're doing anything that has any kind of a spinning rotary type work, drilling, whatever, it's going to cause debris to fly out, and it's going to fly out wherever it feels like it wants to go. Just, it could fly out towards you, away from you. It's just going to go. There's no controlling of it, and it's just going to go. And then if it's going so fast, it's gonna ricochet. So even though you've got a grinder and you're pointing it out to go out one way, it's going so fast it could hit whatever and come back at you. So always think of something like that, ricochet. So again, even if you got those side plastic things on your glasses, it might protect you a little, but if it's a direct hit onto that lens, you could pit that glass because it's hot, especially with grinding sparks. You're gonna pit your prescription glasses, and prescription glasses, they're not cheap. So you can. I know I don't think you wear glasses, but everybody's eyes are different. So if your buddies or friends think that just wear glasses or sunglasses, it's gonna pit this plastic. The plastic is going to shatter. Have you ever seen broken sunglasses on the street? They're in sharp, big pieces of plastic, and they just crack in big, sharp pieces. That's going to go into your eye. It's not little, small shards like safety glass. Safety glass is where when it shatters, it breaks into tiny little pieces. But then again, that's glass for windows and stuff. Safety glasses they can take very high impacts of force. So that's what I'm trying to get to my message across, that glass is glass. It's not protective of anything. Safety glasses, they're a hard plastic that it's impact resistant, and it's a special kind of plastic, I guess. And regular sunglasses, they're plastic, but they're not impact resistant. So let's get off of that subject for safety glasses. I'm just hoping that you use some common sense on some of the stuff here. So let's go with some work gloves. These are kind of light. They're kind of a little bit cooler than leather gloves. Leather, that you can get some work gloves like these for yard work, stuff like that. These are kind of bulky, so they're not really fine to pick things up and work. You can't really articulate your grip with them or work whatever you're working with. But some of these gloves that have like the mesh top, but they have like a rubber or leather palm, and leather or rubber fingers on them. They just got there's little rubber for gripping, and then all this is leather, and then this even has like I guess it's like a leather padding, because if you use those other gloves that are just real lightweight rubber gloves and have the mesh back, you can still get a blister, because that's what I was doing the other day with a sledgehammer. All I was doing was pounding in some spikes with a sledgehammer, and I was wearing those gloves, and I got a blister from swinging the sledgehammer. And I was wearing gloves, so I was like, well, how did but it's still, whatever you're doing, I was gripping that, and I was really hammering that spike in. It wasn't enough. I probably needed something, with these protective little pads on them. And see that right there is where my blister is, and right there's some padding here, leather padding, some leather padding on the palms. Here's a rubber on the fingertips. These are really nice gloves. I like these gloves. They're not as bulky as these leather gloves. Let me get these out. See how big the thumb is, and the fingers. They're just not as as fine and really well as these. I mean, you can use these and they're good for maybe some yard work, you know, but they're my size, but they're just kind of bulky. So find some right gloves. Find some gloves that will keep you from getting blisters, because this kind of hurt after a while, and it's still trying to heal. But these gloves probably would have been better than those other little Home Depot rubber gloves with the mesh top. Those are probably just good for, I don't know what they're good for, to be honest with you. So yeah, find some really nice leather gloves for just, but they got to be, you know, nice and tight. And they do have them. They're gonna be a little more expensive because they're leather, and they're gonna be protective more. They're gonna protect you from thorns and stuff like that if you're working in the yard or whatever. You know, they might not penetrate as much leather gloves, and these I'll probably say they're not going to be good for thorns and stuff like that, but they'll probably pull weeds and stuff, and carrying lumber, and these are still in good condition, and they even have like harder rubber on the knuckles, to protect your knuckles, you know, from reaching in or something. So I really like those gloves. They're Milwaukee, so I like them. They were a little more expensive, but they protect your hands. And I was using the wrong pair when I was doing working with a sledgehammer, trying to nail those spikes in. So ended up getting a blister. But something as simple as that blister. Sometimes if you get them in the right place or something, or even like a cut, the worst is getting a cut on your thumb and your pointer finger, because you use these two fingers almost like for everything, grabbing, you know, and if you get a cut right there on your thumb or someplace where you're bending, it hurts. So protect your hands, you know, wear gloves. I am thankful that with welding and carpentry, I've got good hands. I mean, if you look at some of these people with I don't know how they do it. I mean, I think they put their hand down on a table and they get the biggest fucking hammer that they can get and hit them. I guess they just hit them with with the hammer, and they'll have all these fingers that I don't know. They look like hammered fingers. A guy at work, and it could be that he bites his nails. I don't know if you ever seen a guy who's got like really bad fingers. He bites his nails. When you bite your nails and pull them off like that, you're look it up, man. They do not look good. And so I have been lucky that my hands don't have scars. You know, just they're good condition hands. You know, this is gonna heal. I don't know what happened. Sometimes it's some guys, I guess, just don't get lucky and they damage their hands. I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. But some of these guys have ugly hands, and it's some of them are hard workers. You know, I'm a hard worker too. I've just protected my hands all the time, and everything I've done, welding and carpentry. I've just always wore a pair of gloves and a pair of safety glasses. That's why I've still got 20/20 vision. I just had an eye appointment the other day, and he told me 20/20 vision. So that's another thing where the health comes into. If the longer, the earlier you protect yourself, in the long run, your health is going to be important. In 2019, when I hurt my back, I wasn't careful. I picked up a pressure washer to put in my utility cart, twisted the wrong way. I bent over and picked it up and used my back to pick it up, and it stung me. You know, so always lift correctly. Use your legs. If you can't lift it, get help. I'm telling you, get help. Now there's other equipment. There's knee pads, and I'm gonna tell you, at my age, I look at concrete and I gotta kneel down. I look at that concrete and I'm like, oh God, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. You know, my knees. I've done flooring, I've done tile work, grouting. I've worked on my knees. You know, and my dad would always tell me to use knee pads, and I was like, yeah, Dad, whatever. You know, I was young, and my knees finally just, they're not as strong as they used to be. So wear your knee pads, because eventually it's gonna get you. You know, it's gonna catch up to you, and it's caught up to me. So get a good pair of knee pads, the kind I like, because knee pads, when you strap them up on the back, your pants get like those, like knotted and bunched up in the back of your knees, and then man, they're a pain in the ass. So the kind of knee pads I like are the kind where I'm gonna have to pause this and go get you my knee pads. Okay, so they got just one strap, and they kind of got an area for the knee, and they're a gel zone. There's gel, so it's nice and soft to your knee. And then they got this big kind of tread that you can practically walk in these all day on your knees, and it's kind of hard here, so it's hard here but soft in here for your knee. And then the one strap goes below your knee, and your pants don't really bunch up behind your knee. I mean, when they do, all you got to do is just kind of pull your pants down, not your pants down, but pull your pant leg, you know, down a little bit, take that bunchiness or whatever out, and they're pretty comfortable. So I like these, and these are just a Husky Home Depot brand, that have a gel inside for your knee, and it don't matter, man. They're comfortable, and you're not gonna have sore knees. When I used to work a lot on tile and stuff like that, that's where your knee pads work, and they're gonna save you pain, because now my knees have these black marks on them, and people have asked me if my knees are dirty. They're not. I think they're just bruised over the many years, just like those guys with those hands. They're just, I guess they've bruised them, and they look like broken hands, you know, so hammered hands, that's what I call them. So protect your knees, and they're gonna pay you back, you know, by protecting them. They're gonna keep you, you know, able to bend and kneel and all that stuff. But for the longest time, I never used knee pads. I didn't think anything of it. You know, my dad had told me, and I didn't listen to him. So I know Sean's not here to tell you, and he doesn't have that kind of experience, or didn't have that kind of experience, because he was more of a business guy, salesman, who never did that kind of work. So I'm hoping that, you know, to pass this along and give you some of this education of mine, to give to you. Um, so just remember, safety first. You'll hear about it. Safety first. Safety first. And it's very crucial that you use common sense in everything you do. Everything. It doesn't matter if you're on the job or not. It's at home. And I'm guilty of, I just got to grind this real quick. It won't take very long. Boom. All of a sudden, you lose an eye. I'll go ahead and admit to you that I did that exact thing not too long ago. And the grinding wheel, blew up before I even touched the metal. I don't know if you can see that, but that grinding wheel scarred me now. I wasn't wearing a face shield. Something I've done for many, many years. Grinding on metal. Starting the grinder. Not that day. I didn't wear a face mask. I wasn't wearing my safety glasses, and I got lucky. I got lucky that didn't hit me right in the eye. I mean, I felt like it did, because when it hit my eye, all I saw was stars. I mean, I had my eyes closed, and I was like, what the hell just happened? And I had to take my gloves off and feel if it was like sticking out of my eye. I thought maybe I was one of the worst case scenarios where you see these videos of a guy, getting his belly ripped open by a grinder. A blade is stuck in a guy's head. I thought that's what was me. And I had not opened my eyes, because all I could see was stars, and I had to feel if that blade wasn't stuck in my eye, and I didn't feel anything. But when I did open my eyes, I saw blood. And I was like, did this just really happen? And it did. That wheel just blew up in my face and cut me open, and I had to get stitches. And that's another safety thing that I didn't use common sense. I played it stupid, and I paid for it. So I just wanted to let you know, the quick jobs aren't just quick jobs. You got it. 90% of any job is preparation. 90%. It takes no time to get the job done. But when you have everything ready, you can have a job done, and you can have it done quick. But 90% of any job is preparation. So if I had been prepared and thought about what I was gonna do, and found and got my face shield, put my safety glasses on, even earplugs, because the grinder is loud, and when you hit that metal, it's loud. So I didn't have anything, nothing, and I paid for it. So I made a promise to myself that I'm like, man, I used to wear safety glasses every day, and safety gloves, or my leather gloves, every day at work, on my jobs. And I'm like, now I just have to do it. I just have to do it. So I wear my safety glasses, and I practice safety every day at work. So it's getting about that time. So I just wanted to give that. Those are just some things to think about. Hopefully you look some of this stuff up. Hopefully you find a nice pair of safety glasses. And like I said, it doesn't matter what you do. dust, debris, little things can get in your eye and cause you to go and see a doctor, and he'll have to wash it out. You need a safety kit, first aid kit, maybe a little eye wash, saline bottle that you can keep to in case you do get dust in your eye and you can't get it out. You can rinse it out. So look into that stuff like that, because you're going to be on your own, and no one's going to be there to help you. If you're living with guys the same your age, what do they know? They don't have the work experience. They don't have any experience. I'll be honest with you. Kids your age, they're just kids. You know, you're just getting out into the world, and some of this knowledge you don't have yet. You don't. And so, and your friends don't have that knowledge. Maybe, like your Uncle Mark taught Ryan safety and stuff like that. Maybe, but that's one. One of your cousins might have that kind of common sense because of Mark. And so I'm trying to make that 2. Maybe Jacob. That'll be 3. And so I'm trying my best, and I hope this safety talk helped. And just keep thinking common sense. Keep thinking safety first. All right. Love you.